is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. For the Falcons, Charles, we've talked all year about the injuries that they had in 2018, and you kind of touched on it earlier, too. It's hard to get around them, though, when you look back at this past year. So they go to 7-9, and I know that that's not what they wanted, but with all the injuries, is that okay?
It would be if you didn't think you were going to the Super Bowl. You know, if you didn't think you had a chance at that, and they did going into this.
And for the third time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner.
You hear me laughing, partner, and I'm not laughing at the situation, but sometimes you just get yourself into a rut. It's hard to shake yourself out of it.
First and 10, it's Wilson, eluding the pressure right. That is caught at the 7, and all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it first and goal. They'll try and run for it on first and goal, and he will not be denied. Into the end zone, touchdown Seahawks. A great effort there, taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. Now the Falcons offense, they get ready to head back out here. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on first and 10. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. Back to CenturyLink Field after this. On first and 10, it's Ryan. Going underneath, it's Coleman. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll make this a second down. Now Ryan. The throw to the left side, caught by Coleman. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. A solid gain of 15 yards, and the sticks move. Now Ryan. Man open, that's Calvin Ridley. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Calvin Ridley, 43 yards. And the Falcons have cut it to within a score. They were already down 2 scores early. They needed something to try to stem that tide, and that certainly qualifies. A big play to get him in the end zone.
It qualifies indeed because, let's face it, they don't get something done on this drive, turn it back over. This game could be 88 and out the gate early.
What? 88 and out the gate?
Yeah.
What's that?
Listen, I used to hear my old man talk about it. Usually meant that thing's done.
Well, now that they got the touchdown, it's not 88 and out the gate. We still got a good game going ahead of us. As Seattle makes their way back out here, Charles, let's take a little deeper dive as they go into the offseason, what they need to do. They led the NFL in rushing yards. You talked about it. They ran the football well. Where do they need to improve?
Maybe a little less stubbornness in establishing the run at times, because Chris Carson, their lead back, didn't get started against Dallas. Mike Davis couldn't add a whole lot. Rashad Penny, who was a rookie, he didn't add a whole lot in that one as well. Sometimes you have to let Russell Wilson be the guy and let him throw it around. They'll continue to work on that in the offseason and fortify him with a few more weapons on the perimeter, I believe.
And Wilson's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. It's Desmond Trufant. And an alley to run. And now off to the races down the right side. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Falcon defense has a touchdown.
That was an interception, but on the field, the guys who are picking it off, they're not saying that. What word are they using? It's Oski. And that means catch the ball and go the other way.
That's your vernacular. I've never heard anybody say Oski.
Ask around. They'll tell you.
From the gun, it's Ryan. Flush to his right. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. And Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead. But a mistake there, that can change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
I know the toss play begins with the guy taking the snap and turning around and tossing it to the runner. But where the real intrigue is, can they seal the edge? Whether it's an offensive tackle or a tight end in the direction they want to run the football. If they do that, that's the result that you get, that type of a gain. If they don't, oftentimes it's not a very successful play.
Wilson. And he's got the hook up to Moore. Well, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. That goes for a gain of 31.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10.
Gotta go. 18. 19.
Now Wilson on 1st down. It's caught, block it, and brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. And his throw is going to be incomplete. The intended target, Doug Baldwin. And now it's 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a 1st down.
Come on, tempo.
They'll come out in the pistol. And they'll let the fullback try and take him home. And he gets halfway there down to the 1-yard line. Now before this 2nd down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout, as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. They'll try to run with Carson. And he's across the chalk into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. A great play there as the first half is winding down. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
Throwing now, Ryan on first down. Flushed out right. Incomplete, and we're down to 8 seconds now. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw again. Ryan. Escaping the pressure right. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we are at halftime here in downtown Seattle with the Seahawks out in front. As we send you to our EA studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. Now the Falcons offense gets ready to head back onto the field. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half 2, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. Third quarter starts with a run by Freeman. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. Oh, good footwork on the spin. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Making the stop that time, Bobby Wagner.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Now they'll throw it with Ryan. And it's hauled in by Austin Hooper. And some room to maneuver. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. First target, first catch, and a first down. Now that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
And able to push forward for right around 3 yards down to the 42.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
On 2nd down, here's Ryan. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that is caught one-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. A gain of 39 that time.
Tell the truth, partner. You didn't think he was coming down with that one, did you? Come on, tell me the truth.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you what, though. A one-handed grab of that length, Talk about giving your team a little juice.
Oh, big time. I mean, everyone's going to be excited about that one, whether you're on the field or not. It permeates its way through the entire team, and I can't wait to see what they do on the next down.
And he will score. Touchdown, Falcons. Matt Ryan, his second touchdown of the afternoon, and the Falcons draw a bit closer. Here's Bryant for the extra point. This time, the extra point up and good, and that will get him one closer. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. Now we'll see what this Seahawks offense has in store with their first possession of the second half. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Did they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were competent enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting. And
that's caught inside the 35. And all the way down to the 29. A big play that time for the Seahawks. 43 yards. So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on 1st down. It's a loss of 5 there, bringing up 2nd. Now Wilson on 2nd down. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Devondre Campbell, the linebacker, picks it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. With that ball hitting the ground, let's take a spin around the league real quick. Last week we discussed the head coaching vacancies. There were 8 of them. Well, a lot of those places have already found new coaches, Charles. Some old faces in new places. Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay. Adam Gase staying in the AFC East, jumping from Miami to the Jets. And how about some of the new fellas?
Yeah, how about Cliff Kingsbury? He went to USC to be the offensive coordinator after losing his job at Texas Tech. Ends up being the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Freddie Kitchens gets the job in Cleveland, gets the promotion. Vic Fangio finally getting his shot to be a head coach. He's going to Denver. And Matt LaFleur, he's going to work with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
That leaves us with 2 remaining spots, Cincinnati and Miami, still searching.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. Out of the gun, it's Ryan. Coleman has it here right side. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29.
Let's go.
It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. On 1st down, Ryan. It's caught by Coleman. Give him 7 on the play, and that'll make it 2nd down.
It appears they found something that's working, and they keep going back to it. I guess you can actually say he has the hot hands now, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it's one thing to hit your guy out of the backfield once, hit him a couple times. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they're onto something.
And I think a lot of that is simply if you get it to him in space, more times than not, he's going to get more yardage than you expect out of each play.
A big run there, 29 yards and a first.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Caught by Sanu. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a 1st down. Ryan in the offense with a 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Coleman. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. For the best backs that made it happen, they'll put a foot in the ground and just go.
Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. Frank Clark in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon. So the sack pushes him back, and now 3rd and long for Ryan and the Falcons. Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. And now a 10th carry for Freeman. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. And now with 1:52 to go, we get another pause in the action. A timeout here defensively. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This for the lead in the final stages. And Bryant's kick is good. And they have taken the lead here in the final 2 minutes. Big kick right there to give them the lead in the 4th, but there is still time left for a final drive.
Did they score too soon? Post-game will tell us, right? Depending on what happens on this drive, that's how we'll analyze it. If the other team scores, they scored too soon. If they somehow hold on, they've managed the clock exactly right.
Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a 1st down. Well, that's a good first step, but several steps still to go.
They still have time for the possible game-winning field goal. Time for them to be quick and hurry at the same time.
Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he takes this thing way down into Atlanta territory. It's a big play there for Seattle. 49 yards. And the question now, how do they want to work the clock here on 1st and goal? A field goal would give them the late lead. Here's Carson. He takes it across for the touchdown, and they've taken the lead late in the final minute of the 4th.
Wow, wow, wow. I know it's a never-say-never situation, but to me, that looks like that's the one that's going to finish them off.
A score that puts them in front here late, but not. You got to rally your kick team, don't you, and say the last thing we need is a big return.
And what happens is guys get overeager, get out of their lane because they're so excited they want to make the last tackle. You mess up, could come back at you a long way.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Atlanta now coming out on the field. They're down here in a 1-score game, but the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
They have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10. Back to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And he just gets rid of it. Throws it away. The wise move there. Looked like nobody open. Now 2nd down. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early and then you kind of relax a little bit to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well. I see you nodding your head up and down. That's a very heady decision at this stage of the game. Out of the pocket, nowhere to go. Just get rid of it.
That's a smart play because you're not worried about your completion percentage, and you're also not trying to force it into bad traffic as well. Throw the ball away, live to fight another down.
And, oh, a A crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off by the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas. And a terrific return as he'll take it up past the 35.
Well, it's third down. You're in a tight game in the loudest stadium in the NFL, and it's enough to rattle even the most seasoned of quarterbacks. And here, it looks like he's not quite on the same page as his receiver. This will wind up a turnover.
They'll start out on the ground with Carson. Finding some room at midfield. It's a foot race. The 20. And he's across for the late touchdown.